Hello everyone, welcome back to Gintama Season 3, Episode 2 review, what I just finished watching, and, well, I would have to say right off the bat, I've never laughed so hard in my life in a Gintama episode. Maybe because it's just the style of comedy they go for every week. But, Episode 2, titled Even a Matsuri Stick Can't Handle all kinds of dirt, which is a weird episode title. Gintama has this roundabout way of making the longest titles possible, which always comes off as a little weird to me, but keeps things interesting, I guess. Now I'm gonna do the top 5 moments from this episode with me. I guess I'm gonna do it by myself this week and maybe get killed next time or whatever. But jumping to number 5 is all the parodies we had. Some obviously Gintama is known for his parodies. After that we have Dragon Ball Z again with Piccolo shooting those two characters to the chest again, which is kind of funny from last week, and we've seen more of that again. And I think this time we had an Attack on Titan parody. And there's a Death Note parody. They show a scene where I guess they're doing this timeline thing, explaining no matter what they do, the outcome is going to be them dying in different ways. So there's all these pictures on the screen of all these different scenarios that are going to play out. And if you look at some of the screens, you pause it, and in that moment, you can see like a big hand grabbing someone, which is I guess Attack on Titan. And Death Note, it's not really, but it's like a black notebook thing, kind of like someone's writing. That to me thinks Death Note. I think there's one about space. They're dying in space, so no matter what Gintoki and all the others do, it always kills those two characters. So it's like, no matter what they do, it's, it screws everything up. But number 4 jumps right into that with Gintoki, I guess, finally coming clean to Kagura and Shinpachi, tell him that technically, he's like, we don't need to fix the clock. We'll just let it run out, and they're like, wait, we can't do that. But then he reveals that it's actually missing a battery and needs to be replaced. Like this clock, not being fixed or anything. The battery's is dead. So they have to find a new battery replacement. So I guess Kagura and Shinpachi kind of take it out on him that he kind of knew this a while back, that it was just a battery issue, and they kind of beat the hell out of him because it's always one of those moments where it's like, really, bro? Like you could have told us. So they find out it's a AA battery that they need to replace. So they're like, okay, well, let's go look for a battery. And they realize it's not a battery from our planet. It's like an alien battery. So they gotta go back to the ship where it originally crashed to find a battery. And they find the battery, but they find all the Shinsengumi, the police, basically are there getting the spaceship and they're taking it away. But time is frozen, and they're looking for a battery, and they realize that Hichikata, which is kind of like this, I would say maybe the second in command, or maybe higher than that, but he has the battery in his hands, where his hands is clutch close, so you can't get the battery from his hand because he's frozen. Obviously time is stopped, so Kagura and Gintoki try to get the battery from him. They think of all these different ways they're going to pull his hand, and they even go as far as to rewind time to follow him as he's, maybe he'll let go of the battery sometime, right? No, every time they find him in a different time, he still has the battery clenched in his fist, and it's like, no matter what they do, even going so far as to the future where he's really old and he's died and he's in a coffin filled with batteries, so they're all freaking out that they can't get this battery from him because even when he sleeps he was holding it, and it's just a funny moment that they couldn't get the battery from him at all. It was just funny watching that. And number 3, we'll jump right into that again. It leads to Kagura and Gintoki kind of taking aggression out on Hidekata, and they put him on the ground and actually rip his arm off. His whole arm comes completely off, and Shinpachi is freaking out, like, Gintoki and Kagura are kind of just like not bothered by this at all, and Gintoki goes so far as to get this, I guess they call it a Matsuri stick, which is, I guess it's kind of like a Q-tip, is what I look at it as, but they use it to clean windows and stuff to get in between the cracks on the windowsills, and you've seen it before in the anime. They try to get every little spot of dust, but he basically replaces that as an arm for this guy, and they jump forward through time or let time flow, and I guess they reveal that it's fine with him. He doesn't bother. It's not bothered by this arm. It doesn't bend. It's just a big stick attached to his arm, and they freeze time and they fix that. But in doing so, Hichikata kind of reveals a funny thing where his arm that is missing turns into this mecha arm, and it's like this mecha fist thing, and so they play around with that, and not realizing that they kind of made it worse by him upgrading his arm. They still can't get the battery from his hand, so they keep going. It was just funny watching that, and they even go so far as to they see Elizabeth, which is his mascot character, by another character named Katsura, who's his he's part of Gintoki's past, and so they're basically playing catch in like another lot next door to where the spaceship crashed, and he's basically wanted by the Shinsengumi. They want him because they think he's a terrorist, and he kind of is, but in a more of a comical sense. But so they do all that, and they even think, well, Kagura gets the bright idea to switch arms with both characters. So she rips Katsura's arm off and replaces it with the other guy. So Katsura now has a mech arm, but it has the battery inside, and he's about to throw a pitch. So they put play time, and they, I guess something happens where he throws a rocket punch instead of throwing the battery, and it blows a hole through Elizabeth, through the spaceship, through the wall, and keeps going. So Gintoki and him think, okay, we'll just follow it, maybe, or eventually fall. The battery will release. So they follow him, the arm, and they get to Shinpachi's sister, who is basically inches from getting hit by this fist. And there's a character next to her named, I forgot his name, but yeah, but she's sitting behind him. It's blank on the name here. Yeah, Kyubei. So in Kyubei, if you don't know who that character is a female character that really idolizes Oto, I guess Shinpachi's sister. She really likes her. So, but they freeze time and realize that, well, she's gonna get hit, and there's a sound effect in the sky, which is this weirdest part. Gintoki actually takes the sound effect in the sky and like breaks it in half. Instead of saying bam, it says ham. He switches the letter and thinks it's better sounding than bam, or getting hit. But anyway, they do all this thing, and Gintoki, that leads into my number 2, with Gintoki actually creating his own original character named Ham Song, whatever, which is basically a sound effect letter. It's basically just sound effects. That's all it is. So in doing so, I guess he sound effect or saves Shinpachi's sister during that, and they fast forward thinking that, okay, maybe we'll get the battery this time, not realizing that they go so far as when she gets married to this character, and they do something where they, instead of exchanging rings, they exchange rocket punches, which is because they're both using rocket arms. And yeah, they do that, they break it, and they eventually find this battery, but Gintoki looks at the clock and realizes it's actually a AAA battery, not a AA. And so that clock eventually runs out of power, and they are frozen. The world's frozen. So the time has stopped, basically. But Ham, the sound effect character, steps up and looks down and finds the battery. He makes a comment that, what would they be without me, something like that. And he fixes the clock, and it fixes everything. So, yeah, in a way, it was my number 1. Is just this episode is just so damn funny. I mean, I just couldn't stop laughing. They even had a couple of tick jokes they put into the area, and with Kyubei taking the sound effect letters and giving her, a crotch. It was pretty funny. I would admit that was pretty funny at the end of the episode. Just seeing that and how they kept this gag running for the whole episode. And the Gintoki breaking again the fourth wall by taking the sound effects apart, the letters actually in the sky, and writing his own letters out and creating a new character. And him basically commenting that, when manga people make manga, they often breathe life into these characters. And Shinpachi and Kagura kind of yell at him that you actually created life in this, so you're doing the same thing. But yeah, overall, the episode was really funny. Just seeing, Kagura and Shinpachi kind of take out their aggression on him for, not knowing that this was a battery replacement deal here. And the stuff with the rocket punches, they're taking the arms off, and they had a funny line that he said, I guess Gintoki said to Kagura, why you can't take people's arms off like they're, I guess, like they're model kits or something. And they kind of proved that you can. So, and that was funny to see how they, it's supposed to be something that a little bit like, it's a little creepy that, she just rips his arm off like nothing, and they replace it with something else. Was pretty out of the box for me. It was kind of funny. But yeah, overall, again, like I said, funny episode. Better than the first episode of the new season. I mean, the new season, the first episode was just getting back into Gintama, but this was just, balls to the wall, crazy, just hilarious and fun. Which is what Gintama arcs usually are like. Just non-stop fun and just good stuff. But I'm looking forward to, I guess next week's going to be another comical episode, but I'm hoping that they do a couple more of these funny episodes and then get down to a serious arc here soon, which they do that once in a while. They change it up and get a little serious, or maybe do another comedy side arc, which we don't know. So, but yeah, that's my top 5 moments from Gintama this week, and can't wait to see more. Again, having a lot of fun with the series. See you guys next week for episode 3.